I did not know Edward was going to be in this universe. What do you mean he's tall, slender, blonde hair, pale, and has fangs, and is trying to bite her neck? Is the dishwasher annoying? Probably. But I don't care. This week we are reading Hellbent, the second book in the Ninth House series. I don't even know what the name of the series is. Does it have a name? I read Ninth House way back in February, right? I think it was February I read it. So it's been a hot minute, obviously, and I did forget some things. But thankfully I started reading and it all came back. We are 60 pages in? 67 pages in. Thankfully something happened. Because I was a little bored. I think Babel kind of like really took a lot of my brain power. I don't know what it is. It like put me in a reading slump. A very mild reading slump, and since this is also very kind of dark academia coded, it was not really hitting like I thought it was. Thankfully something did happen, and that's something being Darlington, which Darlington being described as a glow stick. I don't know, that's the best thing we could have used, but it really stuck out in my head. If you've read this book, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Expectations for Hellbent. Number 1, Darlington hopefully falling in love with Alex. And I think they're already kind of in love, but if their romance can just kind of like take off, that'll be great. As long as it's a subplot, because I'm not super into romance being the main plot, and I don't think that would fit in this series. Hopeful to learn more about Dawes, because I feel like we still know very little about her. I would love to learn some more about her. And I think lastly, just some more action, because Ninth House was a little slow. I hope there's some more just like action, better pacing in this one. And if it meets those 6 things, it'll probably be like a 4.5 star. Maybe 5 star, who knows? It may be a 5 star, or it may really make my book slump worse. If this doesn't hit, I'm gonna have to switch to romance for next month, because the fantasies just aren't fantasying. I think what draws me actually to this series isn't so much like the fantasy element or the societies or anything like that. It's just absolutely how crazy and ridiculous these things that happen to Alex are. You're telling me this girl talks to, well, she can't talk, but she also can like bring ghosts into her body. Use their power is also supposed to be like the keeper of the Illuminati. She's in charge of making sure they do their stuff, and she's like just in her 2nd year of college, and she's also solving murders because it's also her job to deal with the police. It's so out there sometimes, but I do eat it up. Actually, I do eat it up. Lighting is horrible because the sun is gone. I'm currently on page 107. Darlington. What is he gonna excited to see where he goes. This ritual? Scary. I'm scared. Michelle being like, yeah, if you do this, actually, you may never come back if you try to go get him. It's gonna be fine. Honestly, I mean, there's supposed to be a 3rd book, so like she can't die. Alex can't die. Darlington can't die. Dawes can't die. So that's kind of the hope I'm holding on to while I'm reading. But I am going to keep reading tonight. You just won't have any. Sorry, my phone is dead. That's my chronic issue. I don't charge things and I don't have a camera. So this is what we're working with. So far, the pacing is really good. I'm enjoying it. It's just as crazy as I need it to be to keep my little brain entertained. So I will talk to y'all maybe tomorrow. If I read tomorrow. Like, I desperately want to read. I feel my brain fighting within itself. It wants to read, but it also just doesn't want to read. It wants to do other things. So maybe tomorrow, maybe Friday, maybe next week. Who knows? Hopefully tomorrow, because I have other things I want to read. I want to read Powerful before Reckless comes out. So hopefully tomorrow. But until then, I'll talk to you later. Oh, hello. I read up until, when did I stop? 127 or 130? That's the page number that I stopped at last night. I didn't read as much as I thought I was going to, but I made decent progress overall in the book yesterday. I think I read maybe like 70 pages. I want to read today, but I also feel not so great today physically, so I don't know how much I'm going to read. I don't know how much I'm going to vlog. I should also preface that. We just don't have a lot to give today. So this right now is already a lot. I don't even know how much I want to read. I may only read like 10 pages. I hope more. It's like really picking up now. There is another murder. Can you believe it? There was another murder. There's I know that's actually some people's issue with like Ninth House and Hellbent, that like there is just constant stuff happening and the characters are always Alex is literally running from murder to Darlington to some drama going on to like her friends. Like there's always something going on, but I live for that. I love that she's constantly going. I love that there's something always going on. Like I'm always on my toes. There's something to keep me entertained every step of the way. I want to read for that reason because there's a lot going on, but I don't know. If I do read though, I feel like I may be able to finish this book like through the weekend. I may finish it through Sunday, which will be really fast for me because Ninth House did take me a while, but we'll see. You may not see, to be frank, but we'll see like if I do read. If you don't, you'll see me apologizing. You need to tell me, not only is Darlington a glow stick trapped in this weird human, non-human body, there is an amethyst map of New Haven that can track people, and now Alex is fighting a vampire? What do you mean this man is a vampire with fangs? How is this? I thought this was about the occult. I thought this was about, like, the Illuminati. I thought this was about just people doing magic to, like, get whatever they want. What? I didn't know monsters were, like, also in this universe. I did not know Edward was going to be in this universe. What do you mean he's tall, slender, blonde hair, pale, and has fangs, and is trying to bite her neck? Reading slump, she's gone. The reading slump from Babel is absolutely gone with all the stuff that is going on in this book, which is great. I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm eating it up. I am gonna call it a night though, because I feel like if I keep reading, I'm just not gonna stop. And I do have work tomorrow. And tomorrow is Friday, so hopefully I could just stay up and read. And this weekend I'll be able to read a lot. I will see you tomorrow. What do you mean that you feel almost human? On page 218, when you say, a good lunch, a little sun and sea, a chat with a beautiful woman, I feel almost human. Are you not human? Because apparently vampires are demons. Does that make you one too? Apparently they're like commingling on the earth. What do you mean you're not human? Also, the vampires ending up kind of just being, like, demonic, I feel like doesn't really quite make sense. I know it's a way of, like, tying it into the plot and the universe that Leah has kind of set up, but I almost wish it was just, like, standard vampires. Because they are standard vampires, is the thing. You know, when Alex is looking it up, like, they're standard vampires to the T of their weaknesses and stuff. But it says that they are a kind of demon, essentially, and they just feed on desperation, is what I'm getting. And that's how they end up turning into a vampire. Or being what we consider a vampire. So what's Darlington's thing gonna be? What is he gonna feed on? I don't know. But I don't trust that man. That was suspicious. I just finished the portion of the book where it explains them descending into hell. I think the way Leigh explained how Trip, Turner, Alex, and Dawes, how even though they all were like seemingly different, at their core struggled with the same kind of fear, the same kind of like sense of weakness, like how I guess how they all are murderers, but the reason why they murdered, I think that was just done really, really well. Their stories, their backstories essentially, was done really, really well, and I liked the way she did it, and I liked that it wasn't just telling us, the reader, why, you know, they did those things or how those things happened, but that each of them also kind of like lived through that experience, because it just like really unified them. And I think for Alex's character, it really helped her, well, I'm not gonna say helped like, you know, she's acknowledged it, but I think it in a way helps her kind of like realize that she isn't the only bad one. I just think that was like a nice way of doing it, that they all had that experience. And I also think it's really cool how it's not like standard hell in this book. Hell is almost like hell is almost like Stranger Things, where you have like the upside down and it's literally just like an alternate reality in Yale, but in hell, like that. I think is really, really cool. Okay, I'm gonna call it a night because my eyes are literally going cross-eyed. I really wanted to try to make it to the last like 100 page mark, but it's just not gonna happen. We're gonna have to call it a night. Overall, I think this is a crazy story. A very crazy story. I don't understand how the murders are gonna tie into this. I know it's somehow gonna tie into it. I just haven't pieced it together yet, but I am very suspicious of Michelle and Anselm. I don't remember Michelle and Michael. Coincidence that they have the same initial name? And Michael especially, I feel like he has something there. Why was he there to interrupt the ritual and supposedly ban them from Leith, but he is not the praetor anymore? Like, you don't even work in Connecticut. How did you find that out? How did you find out that they were doing that? How did you know that was the gauntlet? Sir, what were you doing there? And why does Michelle keep popping up in Connecticut randomly on campus? And why is she lying about her profession? I don't trust them. I don't trust them. It's good. It's good. It's really, really good. Very unique story. Oh, not my cat on the counter. Excuse me! Anyways, what I was saying is that it's a very unique story. Very unique kind of world building system going on here. I'm really enjoying it. Although this is a lot to take in. Like for Alex specifically, this is a lot. She's really dealing with a lot when you consider everything she's had to deal with in the last like year. She's going through a lot. I'm really excited. I'm on page 316. I don't know if I mentioned that, but page 316, chapter 31. I may be able to finish it tomorrow. Well, maybe. We have plans, but maybe. If not, it'll be Monday for sure. So, I will talk to you guys sometime tomorrow, Monday. Who knows? Alright, bye. I don't know if you can hear the rain, but it is storming and thundering outside, and I'm dying. I am dying to get off of work to read. This is perfect reading weather. Especially for a book like Hellbent. I needed to stay like another 2 hours. Unfortunately, the rain did not stick around too long. It's just now clearing up now that I'm getting ready to sit down and read. But it doesn't matter. The mood has been set. Honestly, like the whole weather really just put me in the mood to really crank out and just sit and finish. That's all I have left. I didn't film anything for Sunday. Well, I didn't read on Sunday, but I didn't film anything yesterday. I read maybe like 50 pages. I just didn't film it. And all I'm gonna say is that Anselm, I read you like a book. I read you like I read this book. I cannot believe I actually got that correct. When I read that interaction between him, Darlington, and Alex, I literally, my husband was like, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I was like, not screaming, but I did make a a noise. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I made a noise. Oh man, it was just so good. It was so good. It has me so excited to continue reading and see how this honestly all plays out. And now that my boy Darlington is back, oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I know he's back in a different form. What form, we really don't know yet, but he's back. And honestly, the Gentleman of Leith is back, and that's really just what matters. So I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna read, and we're gonna catch up in a little bit.
It's not for you to decide who breaches the doors of hell, Anselm sneered. You cannot. I'm the Will Walker, Alex said. You have no idea what I can do. Oh my gosh. Alex and Jude? Alex and Jude? You can't compete with them. No one can compete with them, okay? In the world of female main characters, no one can compete with Alex and Jude. I said it. I said it. She really came back to help. She said, oh, I'm gonna work for you. Wrong. Wrong. You thought you had her? Gokara or whatever your name is? Wrong. How does it feel to be a loser? How does it feel to be a loser? Wow, I have 20 pages left. This is amazing. Talk about plot twist after plot twist.
I just need to say that Trip, all of a sudden, now at the end of the story, reminds me so much of Simon from The Mortal Instruments. If you've read those books, he reminds me so much of Simon. He's just not as smart as Simon. It's like they're cut from the same cloth, just one has a little bit more jagged edges than the other. You know what I mean? If you've read this book and you've read The Mortal Instruments, you probably understand why I'm saying this. Not to spoil it, but just their personalities and the fact that they have the same hobbies and they kind of like are described the same. Like that connection just happened for me in my brain. Michelle knew about Anselm? I didn't trust her either, but I didn't think they were besties. There's literally 5 pages left in this book, give or take, and another plot twist. And you're telling me there is no release date for book 3 yet? I'm just supposed to sit with all of this information and all these twists, like... I finished. Oh, it was so good! Oh my goodness, that ending has me itching for the next book. Leigh, please, I don't know if you're working on it. I know you just released The Familiar not too long ago, but if you, I'm begging you. This is me begging right now. Please, oh my goodness. This book was so good. This was so much better than Ninth House. Ninth House is the typical kind of first book in a trilogy series where it sets up a lot of the lore, sets up a lot of things. This... the way it tied in so many points that you could have just brushed over. I brushed over them in Ninth House, and how it just brought everything in from Ninth House and how it's like still using it. It's not only answering questions from Ninth House, but also still like building on top of that, like stepping stones. It's so good. The writing in this is so good. Oh my gosh, I don't understand how people rate this so low. The way I have to wait. Oh my gosh. No, this is so good. If you're watching this and you have not read Ninth House or Hellbent, get through Ninth House. It may take you a bit because it's not the best. I'm not gonna say it's the worst, but it's slower paced. But it's worth it for this book. I'm telling you right now, it's worth it. The payoff is so worth it. Just being able to see how everything ties together, not only between Darlington and Alex and their character arcs, Alex and her Will Walker powers, and like how she's now bound to Darlington, and like the whole other realm with hell. Like it's so unbelievably good. Oh my goodness. I feel like I need to like take notes. I feel like I need to do a breakdown just to show how like Leigh really thought out everything. She really thought out everything from the beginning about this. It's not like she's just saying things to say it and it's just like mumbo jumbo. Like, no, the stuff that happens in Ninth House has a purpose and it really comes to fruition in Hellbent. And I love when authors do that, because for me, that is great storytelling. For me, that is a true story. Like, when you could do that, oh my goodness. I'm not gonna shut up about this book apparently for a while. Like, it's criminal. Writing this and then not having a third already ready to go, criminal. That's what it is. It's absolutely criminal. If I have to rate this a star right now, I'm gonna go with a 4.5. I'm not gonna say 5 yet, because I don't want to throw my 5s out there willy-nilly. But I am gonna say 4.5. If that changes, me editing in the future, you can somewhere, revise it. But right now, I'm gonna say 4.5. So good, so much better than Ninth House. Just such an amazing little world in here. I know it gets a lot of slack because people look at this and they think dark academia. It needs to be like a true dark academia book. Just take it as it is. It's dark academia vibes, okay? That's really what it's about. It's not here to critique anything about academia or anything like that you would get in a standard dark academia book. This is purely just dark academia vibes. That's all it is. And if that's what you want, and you want an occult story with magic and lore, and it's dark, I'm gonna be honest, it is dark. So do read trigger warnings before you read this series. If that's your vibe, you will like these books. Don't go into this expecting it to be a critique of academia. It is not critiquing academia. It kind of is, but that's not its main thing, all right? Its main thing is Alex and Darlington and their story and their connection, and Alex's arc specifically about her desire to want to be good and struggling with feeling like no matter what she does, it's irredeemable, that just people fall every time they're next to her, like she's just a bomb going off. She's a bad luck charm. Like, that is the point of this. Not a critique on academia or anything like that. So, wow. I love when a book hits. I love when a book hits. I'm gonna leave the vlog here. I'm gonna end it here. I know for Babel I did kind of like a review, but I think I'm gonna just leave the vlogs as vlogs, and if I do a true review of the book, it'll either be on my Instagram, Goodreads for sure, or it may be like a separate video just to kind of help keep the videos shorter, not super long, because I like to ramble. So we're gonna cut it here. Be on the lookout for a full review, or go to my other pages for a full review. But just know that this is a book I'm recommending. All right, this is a book I definitely recommend you to pick up if you are into the occult, if you're into dark academia vibes, if you're into a morally gray main character. Well, and not just Alex, like Darlington ends up morally gray. Like, if you're into really just writing where there is true kind of like foreshadowing and like so many little things that just tie the plot together. Like, it's almost like a puzzle. It really is almost like a puzzle. So if you like those things, you will most likely love this book and eat it up. I promise. So if you like the video, give it a like, subscribe, do all those things. And I hope to see you guys next time. Bye.